Good afternoon and welcome to the launch of the African Economic Outlook report. This is a very nice report. I urge you all to read it. It's well written, it's about 1,000 pages long. What you see printed is only a third of it. There's a lot more that you could glean from it. What I'm going to do is really present to you the performance of Africa, economic performance of Africa, mention what the drivers are, what the risks are, but also try to answer the question, whose growth is it? My colleagues at UNDP spent a lot of time looking at the human condition, as you can imagine, and in their presentation will say more about the impact on the human condition. And Mario Pezzini from OECD will say a lot more about global value chains and the opportunity they present for sustaining Africa's growth.
The more an economy is integrated in global value chain, the higher is the productivity. Why? Because working and specializing in a sector but be complementary to other activity, you learn. You sediment competencies over time. You know how to produce manufacturing, how to specialize. You know the condition of a market, the services you need, and the supplier that you may afford. The non-OECD economy have been growing in the production of intermediary goods. 20 years ago, 80% of this production was done in developed countries. Today, only 60%. The rest is done in developing economy. They reach, as a whole, 40% of the production of intermediary goods. But where is Africa in this picture? Well, Africa was capable to increase its production and its participation in the share of the production of intermediary goods.
We're saying that human development in Africa is on the rise. Poverty rates are falling, income and education and health outcomes are improving. But the message is that it is too slow, it is uneven, and it's vulnerable to shocks. The most important thing is that although we're making gains in certain indicators, we have not yet translated this into the sharp reversal of the long-standing inequalities between women and men in access to resources and control over these resources. Also the issue of environmental sustainability. Most of our economies are based on natural resources, whether we're talking about natural resource extraction, whether we're talking about energy, agriculture, fishing. This is key for the future of our continent. So whenever we're looking at our strategies going forward, we really need to choose and prioritize development strategies that will also take into account environmental challenges.
We've just launched the African Economic Outlook for 2014, whose special theme is on global value chains and Africa's industrialization, focusing on the opportunities that global value chains present for various African countries and industries. Of course, we've spoken about how Africa will do growth-wise. Basically, we're seeing a growth approaching 6% in sub-Saharan Africa in the next 2 years. Growth is a lot slower in North Africa, but I must say that generally growth in Africa is robust. We're seeing stronger growth, the strongest growth in West Africa, followed by East Africa, and then Southern Africa, Central Africa, and finally the lowest growth in North Africa.